And I understand, and I thank the gentleman for explaining that we don't run for retention, but certain judges do. And there was an assurance given that all state officials would go into the new plan upon re-election. By striking the word retention, don't we give effect to the fact that we're carving out certain classes of state employees?
The bill, as it came from the Senate, says that elected officer means a member of the General Assembly.
That may be true, but let me ask you this. If you read the document together and you look at the citations, of which I gave you previously, and I'll be glad to do again, it gives effect, read as a whole, to carve out a certain class of state employee. I would point to you, if you want to look at the actuary that actually has a fiduciary responsibility to SERS, the Hay Group, if you look at page 4/9 of their note on Senate Bill 1, it talks about member, class, and group, and it talks about class A3-A4, class AA, class D4, class A, then it includes judiciary, includes state police. If you look at that particular page, please, you can notice, you'll find that the judiciary is being included under the final average salary, which I believe you mentioned, and I appreciate you pointing that out, as well as the neutral option 4. But it would seem to one, at least to this one, that read as a whole, you've successfully carved out a certain class of state employee for special treatment. And I think it's a fair question, and since it has a pretty big impact on our Commonwealth and it's on its finances and frankly on the credibility of this bill, since we've assured the people that the days of playing political games with the pension is over, are we carving out a certain section of state employee for special treatment?
First of all, Mr. Speaker, an actuarial note is not the law. The bill, as I've said several times, clearly states that it is members of the General Assembly who are elected officers and will be affected by the change upon re-election. There is case law, which is referenced in a number of the actuarial notes, that indicates that with respect to legislators, that is a permitted change. There is also case law that indicates that for an independent judiciary, we are not members of the judiciary, for an independent judiciary, there must be some consistency from year to year and class to class. So Senate Bill 1 is lawful and constitutional insofar as it treats members of the General Assembly, and likewise it is lawful and constitutional as it treats members of the judiciary.
Respectfully, sir.
Representative, if I might. Just if you could be a little bit more pointed with your questions.
Sure.
You know, just because they are...
Let me be as pointed as possible. Have we carved out judges at re-election from the same impact that we have on every other elected official, including the legislature? Is the language, this amendment, specifically carving out the judiciary?
Representative Kampf, it seems to me that this has been asked and answered if I were a judge. But here's the thing, Representative Kampf, everybody has the option to stand for interrogation or not. You know, you do not have to accept interrogation. But Representative Kampf, please go right ahead.
Asked and answered. The language clearly says that it applies to members of the General Assembly, because that is how elected officer is defined. And, Representative, that is the last time I'm going to say that.
Would Representative Cutler stand for interrogation?
He indicates no.
On the bill, Speaker.
Or on the bill, Representative Bradford, the floor is yours.
I think it's pretty obvious by what's being said and what's not being said. I think you're being hoodwinked. We're being told that we're taking politics out of the pension once and for all. We're being told that we're treating all elected officials equal. That's not the case. And respectfully, the lack of an answer on an issue of billions of dollars of importance, in which the very credibility of this body has been shredded by our inactions and actions, omissions over the last decade, to today on this floor not be able to answer such a simple question, are the judges included? It's a simple answer. Look, you could have accused me of saying I'm asking a question I already know the answer to. Now that would have been worth making that objection. But let's be honest, why can't we say that we're not treating all elected officials equal? When judges stand for re-election, they will continue in the same plan. The legislature will not. They won't say it. We just did. And the facts are that. The fact that they won't answer it is just shameful. For that reason, and so many others, I ask you to vote no.